એમનામાં ગમે તેટલા
કે ડેડિકેટેડ કોઈ બી માણસ હોય એને તમે રાખી શકો છો, બાકી જો રૂટીનમાં ચાલતું હોય એ અત્યારે કરો તો
હા
પછી ક્લાયન્ટ પણ બાદમાં દુખી થાય કે આપણને પણ એવું લાગે કે ના યાર ગલતી થઈ.
અને આમ તો છે ને સાહેબ, for any compliance matter now the legislation is becoming really strict day by day.
જી yes 100%.
And not just compliance part, that's very right. Chawda sir pointed out very right, you are right.
કંઈ પણ હોય સાહેબ, એમ હવે માની લો કે જે ચાલતું તું થશે કરીશું, now it is becoming just it will become history.
You have to do each and every compliance timely and 100% correct.
Right sir. ના ના એટલે સાહેબ અત્યારે આરઓસી ફાઇલિંગ નો ટાઈમ છે and everybody need, કારણ કે એટલા બધા ચેન્જીસ આવ્યા છે કે માની લો કે ક્યાંય ભૂલ ગઈ, આ તો સારું થયું કે ભાઈ ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યૂટે આપણું પેલું 60 days ની ટાઈમ લિમિટ કરી આપી, અધરવાઇઝ ઇટ વોઝ એક્સ્ટ્રીમલી ડિફિકલ્ટ કે ટાઈમલાઈન ને મેચ જ કેમ નહીં કરવી એમ. બટ એનીવે નાઉ ઇટ ઇઝ ફાઇન. તો બસ ગોવિલ સાહેબ, બેઝિક intention of organizing today's seminar is just everybody, all chartered accountant friends and members have the latest awareness and latest facts regarding compliance of ROC filing, ROC annual filing, because as being the limited liability, everybody is now rushing towards listing of this registering of private limited company or rather LLP, because there are a little bit more relaxations. So just we and Chintan by thinking from very long time that let's have some very good seminar on this, and that at the early stage. And sir, you immediately spared your valuable time, so thank you very much. And it is very much sure that the coming 2 hours are going to be very much learning and just knowledge sharing for us. So welcome sir, welcome all the members, and thank you for sparing time all the members also in this stuff. And now because the website started working, so all chartered accountants are becoming little bit busy nowadays, and coming 2 months are really going to be very crucial, because in 2 to 3 months we need to complete all our long pending back works in just a limited period of 3 months. So please, without wasting a moment sir, I request Romil bhai to further carry forward the event.
Thank you, Chawda sir. Good evening to all. I hope a major participant has joined the meeting. I welcome today's speaker, CS Govil Rathi sir, today's convener BK Chawda sir, and CA Chintan Thakkar, deputy convener, and all participants of the in today's seminar on virtual meeting for 22nd virtual meeting for financial year 2021-22 for the annual compliance related to ROC for LLP and private limited. Now I request CA Rinal Shah for the introduction to today's faculty.
Ben mute sir. Ben, you are mute.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Romil bhai. I welcome CS Govil ji for today's seminar. Let me give his brief introduction, so that we can have the knowledge about his experience and expertise for these legal matters related to private limited company related ROC related matters. Govil Rathi ji is practicing CS, having more than 10 years of experience in this field, chartered company secretary field, and he's running his practice under Govil Rathi and Associates name. He is mainly based at Ahmedabad. His office is currently located in Ahmedabad. He is mainly focusing on various industries such as MSME, SSI, registered manufacturing companies, hospitality industries, hospitals, new startups, LLPs, proprietorship, private limited companies, companies selling automobile parts, hydraulic manufacturers, real estate industries, plastic industry, chemical industry. The list is very not exhaustive. List is very long. He is covering all the main industries. I think he's looking after many industries for this legal matters related to MCA and ROC. So all type of industries he is covering and is focusing. Apart from that, he is offering service in the area of incorporation of company, dean service, appointment and removal of directors, auditors, RBI approvals related to NBFC companies, corporate governance, then after XBRL filing, FEMA compliance, uh, then after listing regulation compliances, closure of companies, ESOP compliance, LCLT applications and appearing in hearings, IBC matters, conversion of companies, compliance related to foreign direct investments. So again, it is a very long list to define. He's dealing with almost all the aspects in compliance matters. Um, for regarding LLPs, they are offering service incorporation, annual filing, alteration to LLP agreement, closure of LLPs. And then he's also providing service related to trademark, copyright registration, trademark oppositions registration, assignment work related to trademark applications. Apart from that, he is offering service related to trust. All the trust compliances which we are also dealing with, such as trust registration, amendment to clause, object clause of the trust, registration under 12A, application to obtain ATG certificate for trust and giving tax benefit to the donor. So all the aspects related to trust he is also dealing with. He is also offering service related to legal and licensing solutions such as import-export code registration certificate, FSSI license registration, GM registration, that is government e-marketplace registration, MSME registration, registration of partnership firm, drafting of deeds, agreements, MOA, AOA, and various legal documents, drafting of joint ventures, overseas agreements, etc. Um, he is also offering service related to DSC class 3 signature certificate, DSC for foreign individual, for e-tendering, etc. So basically all services under one roof are available at CS Govil Rathiji's office. So he must be having various and vast experience in this field. We can have his experience knowledge by sharing with us. So I invite you to further you can start your lecture now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Okay, sir, available.
Yes. Am I audible to everyone?
Yeah.
What is annual filing? Every company which is incorporated in India have to comply for the ROC. It is required to file forms for the annually, that is your financials and annual returns. Financial by the audited by the chartered accountant, annual return certified by the company secretary. In annual filing cases, OPC is not required to conduct AGM. में छोड़ रहे क्या? For the routine scenario, the due date of AGM for the many companies is 30th September. For the current COVID pandemic, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has provided relaxation for the annual general meeting for the financial year 2021. For the financial year 2021, the due date to conduct AGM has extended by 2 months from the actual date by which companies required to conduct their AGM. There is no relaxation for the OPC and LLP. And newly incorporated private limited company, their AGM due date is the 31st December for the current year.
ગોવિલભાઈ થોડો તમારો અવાજ વધી શકે તો
Sure, sure. Hello.
હા થોડું ખાલી માઇક નજીક રાખો ને તો કદાચ
ઠીક છે.
પ્રોપર થોડું સમજ
Wait, sir. Now okay?
હા ઓકે
Hmm.
થોડું કદાચ લાઉડ બોલજો તો
हाँ, कोई issue नहीं, कोई issue नहीं. There is no relaxation in case of OPC, LLP and newly incorporated company. Their first AGM for the financial year 2021 due in the certain time. Annual filing is not a cake book. Like few professionals, they are filing annual filing by the juniors or trainees or some graduate persons. They are consider annual filing is the normal routine and not consider is the as a professional capacity. For the not preparing annual return as a proper way as required as per the Companies Act, for the financial as per the Companies Act, certain mistakes like shareholding pattern is not available in the financial of the company. There is requirement of the shareholding more than 5% held by any person. You have to mention in the notes of the accounts of the financial. In board report, you have to attach MGT9 and you disclosure for each and every point which is mentioned as per the Companies Act 2013. But certain professional used to that copy paste of the certain things that last year is the same. We have to continue with the same documents and another same copy paste and just file the same. Right now, last year we have received the financial from the one of CA. His board report is only the one page, single page. And right now we are drafting the small company board report, which is more than 20 pages. We have to just mention that is not applicable. That is, you have to mention with the point that this section is the not applicable. You cannot remove that particular point from the board reports. Timeline for the annual filing of the companies. In case of OPC, form AOC4, AOC4 XBRL if applicable to the OPC, AOC4 CFS is if applicable within 180 days from the closure of the financial year. In that case, your due date is the financial year closing from 31st March 21 to 180 days, that is the 30th September. You have to file AOC4 for the OPC. Second form is MGT7A. It is the annual return of the OPC. The due date of the MGT7 is the within 60 days from the completion of 180 days of the financial year end. That due date for the MGT7 is 29 October 2021. In case of OPC, there is no requirement to conduct the AGM. In that case, the ADT1 auditor appointment requirement, you have to file ADT1 within 30 days from the board meeting, in which you have to approve the financial. In case of other than OPC, AOC4 due date is applicable AOC4, AOC4 XBRL, AOC4 NBFC, AOC4 CFS, AOC4 CFS NBFC that you have required to file within 30 days from the date of the AGM. In that, you have to add 30 days from the include the AGM date also. In form MGT7 or 7A, that 7A is applicable for the small companies. You have to file annual return MGT 7 or 7A within 60 days from the date of the AGM. Next form is the form ADT 1. This is the for the appointment of the auditor of chief auditor of the company. You have to file within 15 days from the annual general meeting of the company. Timeline for the annual filing of LLPs. You have to require just 2 forms to comply of the annual filing with the ROC of the in LLP. One form is the form LLP 11, that is within 60 days from the closure of the financial year. The due date of form LLP 11 is 29th of March, 29th of May for the every year. Form LLP 8 is the statement of account with the ROC. It is required to file within 30 days from the end of the 6 months of the closure of the financial year. In the LLP 8 is the due date is always 29th October for the every year. Due date for AGM. A company is required to call AGM for its member within 6 months of the closure of the financial year or within 15 months from the last AGM of the company. For the existing company, for newly incorporated company, the requirement to conduct AGM, it should be within 9 months from the closure of the financial year. If any company required to extension, they are not eligible to conduct AGM within their due date, then they have to require to make application to ROC to the extension of AGM by filing of form GNL 1, the extension to maximum granted by the ROC, which is 3 months from the due date. And the application for the extension of AGM, you have to file before 30 days from your due date. In case of OPC and LLP, there is no requirement of conduct of the AGM. Inform at due date of the AGM, mostly professionals, or we can say they are just trying that we have just mentioned the due date always. But in that case, you have to consider if there is a first AGM of the company, there is always due date is the 31st December. In many professional, I have seen that they have mentioned the AGM date is 30 September and due date also 30 September. That is wrong. You have to just consider that first AGM date is the due date is the 9 months from the closure of the financial year. In that case, you have to just mention your conduct AGM date and due date is always 31st December. I have right now clarified that due date for the AGM for the financial year 2021. If you have conducted AGM for the last year for the financial year 1920 on 25th June, then for the current year your due date will be 25th September 2021. After extension of the 2 months, which is given by the MCA, that is normal your due date will be 25th November 2021. In another case, if you conduct your AGM last year, 30th September 2020, then your current year due date will be the 30th September 2021. And after extension, your AGM due date will be the 30th November 2021. In another case, if you conduct AGM last year, 31st December 2020, for current year, your due date will be the 30th September. And after extension, it will 30th November 2021. Financial year of companies and LLPs. Generally, company and LLP have financial year for 12 months and preparation of financial statement for say 12 months. Whereas in case of first year of companies, it can prepare financial year for the period of 15 months. And in case of LLP, it can be prepare the first financial for 18 months. If company is incorporate on or after 1st January to 31st March, then you can prepare the financial more than 12 months, but its limit is 15 months. In that case, if company is not doing any business or business transaction, then we can consider that for the next financial year, we can consider the transactions and make the financial from the incorporation to next year 31st March. In case of LLP, if LLP incorporate after 1st October to 31st March, then you can skip that financial year and prepare the financial of the company for the next 31st March. If company is not doing business in that short span of time, then we can consider this for that additional which not on the company or LLPs. Annual filing form for the companies, annual filing related form is AOC 4, AOC 4 XBRL, AOC 4 NBFC Ind-AS, AOC 4 CFS, AOC 4 CFS NBFC Ind-AS, MGT 7, MGT 7A, ADT 1, and MGT 14. For the LLPs, two forms is only required, that is LLP 11 and LLP 8. Form AOC 4. All companies expect company required to upload AOC 4 XBRL, AOC 4 NBFC Ind-AS, required to file AOC 4 simple form. We have to attach following documents and be careful to prepare for the attachments of the company. That is, first one is the AGM notice. In AGM notice, you have to mention all the required details. That is adoption of accounts. Second is appointment of auditor if applicable. For right now scenario, if auditory appointment for last AGM yeah, before that for the 5 years and their term is not due for the reappointment, then you not required to mention that appointment of auditor or reappointment for the auditor related anything in the notice. Another point is the dividend distribution. If company required that company is issuing dividend, then there is no requirement to mention in the AGM notice. The company is distributing dividend X amount as per the financial. After that, any reappointment due of the directors, or if during the financial you have to appoint any person as a director in the company as an additional director, that is required to be regularized in the annual general meeting. That point you have to mention in the notice is the ordinary business. After that, special business you have to mention in the AGM notice. That will be you have to pass any resolution for the special purpose, like 186 borrowings or 185 director related transaction. You have to mention in the notice. After that, board report. In board report is a 4 to 5 annexure in the required to board report. That is, first is the board report. After that, extract of the annual return that is the MGT 9 and CSR calculations and absorption of technologies and conversion of energy. You have required to mention in your board report. If in your company any independent director, then you have to submit the independent director report attached with the board report. After that, independent auditor report, audited financial statement, AOC 4. If in your company any associate company, joint venture, or subsidiary company or subsidiary any LLP, then you are required to file AOC 1 with the part of the board report. AOC 2. If any related party transaction under cover 188, then you have to mention in the AOC 2 all the related party transaction covered under section 188. Next is MGT 9. MR3. MR3 is the secretarial audit if applicable to the company. Next is the CSR annexure. If CSR applicable to the company, that is a part of the board report. After that, annexure of energy conservation, technology absorption, and foreign exchange earning. That the part of the board report like annexure continuation. Form MGT9. If company having its own website, then they have to upload their annual return on the website. Annual return is your form MGT7. The MGT7 is not prepare. You cannot prepare MGT7 before the AGM. But right now scenario is you have to just draft MGT7 and put that on your website with mention that this is draft and annual return. And the same will be attached in the board report. And there is mandatory requirement there that if you have company having website, then they have to attach, they have to put their annual return on the website and the link of the same in the board report. In other cases, the company is not having website, then they have to attach MGT9 in the board report. Form MR3 is the secretarial audit. It is applicable to all listed companies, public company having paid up capital 50 crore or more, public company having turnover 250 crore and more, and all companies having outstanding loan or borrowing through banks and financial institutions of rupees 100 crore and more. Form AOC for XBRL. Its applicability of Form AOC for XBRL. It is applicable to all listed companies, companies having turnover 100 crore and more, any company having paid up capital 5 crore and more, and companies prepare their financial as per the Ind AS. Once the company file their financial in XBRL, they have to file their financial lifetime with XBRL form only if they do not trigger the eligibility criteria of the Form AOC for XBRL. There are following exemption for the Form AOC for XBRL that all NBFCs they require to form for AOC for NBFC Ind AS. They are not required if they trigger the all applicability criteria. After that, they are not required to file Form AOC for XBRL. For housing finance company, for the banking companies, and for the insurance companies. Following the attachments we have required in the Form AOC for XBRL. First is the XML file which we create from the XBRL software. After that, AGM notice, board report, independent director in the company, their report, audit report, financial statement, AOC 1, AOC 2, MGT 9, MR3, CSR, annexure or annexure of energy conservation, technology absorption, and foreign exchange earnings. Form AOC for NBFC Ind AS. It is applicable to all NBFC companies. In that same, we have to attach the following attachment: AGM notice, board report, independent director report, if any, independent auditor report, audited financial, AOC 1, AOC 2, MGT 9, MR3, CSR, and annexure for energy conservation. For the Form AOC for CFS. Before the filing of Form AOC for CFS, you have to just file Form AOC 4 before that. So once you file Form AOC 4 with their SRN, you are eligible to file Form AOC for CFS. Applicability. If a company having subsidiary company, associate company, joint venture, LLPs, even if company investment in the LLPs is about 20% of the capital contribution or profit sharing, then they have to require their financial consolidation financial with the LLPs. For the Form AOC 4, you have to require to attach AGM notice, board report, independent director report, audit report, consolidated financial, AOC 1, AOC 2, MGT 9, MR3, CSR, and annexure for energy conservation. form AOC for CFS, NBFC, India. All the NBFCs, if they have any subsidiary company, associated company, joint venture, and LLPs, then they have to require to file form AOC for CFS, NBFC, and prepare their financial in India. The attachment is the same, like AGM notice, board report, independent director report, independent auditor report, financial consolidated financial, AOC 1, AOC 2, MGT 9, MR 3, CSR, annexure or annexure for energy conservation. Form MGT 7, it is the annual return of the company. It is applicable to all companies other than OPC and small companies. In that, you are required to attach list of shareholder. In case of there are high number of shareholder in the company, then they can file the list of shareholder in CD with the ROC. Second attachment is the optional. If there is share transfer during the year, then they have to require to attach the list of share transfer during the year. In the case share transfer is the more than 10, the company can find in annexure, and as well as they have file the list in the CD form. Another attachment is the MGT 8, certified by the practicing company secretary applicable. Applicability of the MGT 8. MGT 8 is applicable to all the listed companies, all the companies having paid up capital 10 crore and more, all the company having turnover 50 crore and more. If any of the condition is satisfied, they have to require form MGT 8. Form MGT 7A. This is the new form. This is the first year you have to require to file this form for in case of OPC and small companies. Form MGT 7A applicability is the 1% company and small companies. In that you have to require list of shareholder. Like in case of there is high number of shareholder, then you can file the same in the CD form to ROC. Or list of share transfers during the year, if any, you have to attach like other attachment, or if there is more than 10 share transfer during the year, then you can submit it in the CD form with the ROC. And list of shareholder directors you have to attach in this form. Form ADT 1. It is the most important form for the chartered accountant. In the ADT 1, the appointment of the statutory auditor in the company. In that, applicability at the time of appointment of statutory auditor, it is if the appointment is due in the AGM, then you have to require to file the form ADT 1. In that, you have to require to attach consent of the auditor for the appointment for the 5 years, or the due period if your appointment is the limitation as per the act, then the particular terms, and general meeting resolution for the appointment. And if you are think fit, then you have to just attach intimation by the company to the auditor. It is optional attachment. 2 is the mandatory attachment, and 3rd is the optional attachment. Form MGT 40. It is applicable to all public companies. In the attachment, you have to just require to form board resolution for approval of financial statement and board resolution for approval of board report. You have to just require to file this form within 30 days from the board meeting. For the listed companies, certain provision that like you have to file form MGT 15 for the report of the AGM, corporate governance certificate, compliance certificate of corporate governance by PCS, management discussion and analysis report, certificate by CEO and CFO of the company, certificate by PCS that none of the director is disqualified, and annual secretarial compliance report from the PCS. Form LLP 11. It is required by the all LLPs. Details in this form, you have required the following details. Is the crucial details. That is turnover of the LLP is above 5 crore or not. The obligation, that is contribution maximum by the partners and designated partner, and the contribution received by the partner and designated partner, it is continue for the financial year and they not withdrawn from the particular amount from the contribution. In the LLP 11 attachment, the details of LLP and companies in which partner and designated partner is a director or partner. The related party disclosure is required in the form LLP 11. Form LLP 8. It's applicable to the all LLPs. For before the preparing this financial, you have required two details, that whether turnover of the LLP exceed 40 lakhs or not, or whether the obligation of contribution exceed 25 lakhs or more. If the any condition is exceed, that company has LLP is required to audit their financial from the chartered accountant. In LLP 11, attachment is single required disclosure under the MSME Act, that your creditors and debtors list as per the MSME. Optional attachment also there is, if financial statement of the company and audited financial in case of LLP exceeds their limit, that turnover exceed 40 lakhs or the obligation of the contribution is exceed 25 lakhs. Additional fees for delay in annual filing of the companies. Before the notification, which comes is the 30th June 2018, there is a maximum limit for the additional fees. In that time, if you delay the 30 days, then you have to just pay the additional fees 2 times of the form. Like if your company follow the government fees are 300, then you have just paid the 900 rupees for the 30 days delay. And if you are delay more than 30 days, but within 60 days, you have to just pay 4 times additional fees and single time is normal fees. If your delay is the 60 days and up to 90 days, you have just pay 6 times normal fees for the annual filing. In case of more than 90 days and up to 180 days, 10 times of the normal filing fees. And beyond 180 days, there is a limit 12 times of the normal filing. At that time, you have to just pay maximum 30 times additional fees for the non-filing on the timely. But after the notification come of 30th June 2018, you have to pay 100 rupees per day additional fees for the non-filing of each form. For the form AOC4, for AOC4 CFS, AOC for XBRL, or MGT7, MGT7A. If your old filing is pending, then you have calculate the additional fees for the 30th June 2018, that is 13 times maximum, and after that 100 rupees per day from the 30th June 2018 to till date, as on date you have to file the annual filing. For the current annual filing, if fail within due time, then you have to pay 100 rupees per day per form for AOC4, AOC4 CFS, or MGT7, MGT7A. In LLPs, additional fees is the fix from the incorporate company LLP Act 2008, that 100 rupees per day for each form LLP 11 and 8 for the next day from the due date of filing of the form up to the date of filing of the form.
Sir, was there any extension in this LLP filing also, sir, like in May and August that were like due date? Was there any extension?
For LLP, there is extension that you have to file LLP 11 till 30th August.
Okay.
After that, additional fees is added.
Okay, there is no further extension after that.
No, there is no extension for the LLP and OPC.
Okay.
After additional fees, there is penalty for the non-compliance also. As per notification dated 28 September 2020, which effect from 21st December 2020, MC has amended the penalty for companies as below. For the company, minimum penalty is 10,000. In case of continuation failure, then 100 rupees per day up to 2 lakh rupees. For the director and CFO, penalty of 10,000 minimum, and in case of continuous failure, 100 rupees per day up to 50,000 to each director and CFO. There is also amendment in the LLP Act, which comes 30th August 2021, that for the failure of non-compliance, LLP has the pay to penalty 100 rupees per day up to 1 lakh rupees, and for designated partner, penalty of rupees 100 rupees per day up to 50,000 to each partners. Before this notification, which comes 28 October 2020, there is a minimum penalty on company is 1 lakh rupees. Sorry, director is 1 lakh, and for the companies is 1,000 rupees per day till the your non-compliance continue up to 10 lakh rupees. And the for directors 1 lakh rupees minimum and 1,000 rupees per day till the your non-compliance continues. For this is for the penalty, I have one example which I have shown is the recently one of my associated is the file the AOC 4 and GT 7 with the deficiency with the ROC. ROC mark that form is defected and mark as non-compliance by the company. उसके बाद उसका कंपाउंडिंग किया तो उसका पेनल्टी उसको कंपनी को 9,73,000 रुपए कंपनी को और 4 डायरेक्टर को 1-1 लाख रुपए पेनल्टी आया फॉर द deficiency in the forms. They have filed the forms but with the deficiency. The ROC considered that form is defective forms. So we have to prepare the financial carefully, and before the filing any form, check is twice there is no deficiency in the form. Otherwise, company has to pay more amount of penalty due to little bit negligence of our side. That we have to professional, we are charging the professional fees for the for their compliance only. Disqualification of director. If the company has done non-compliance by not filing financial statement or annual return for the continuous period of 3 years. If any company non-complies for continuous 3 years, then their director will be disqualified, and they are not eligible to appoint in any company, as well as they have to vacate their office from the all companies in which they have directors. Chintan bhai, that is the brief from my side. Now we will discuss if any query or questions of anyone. One by one.
Questions. So, okay, I don't have a question as such at this point of time.
No,
For
if
other
you
members,
require, further like normal case, you have to, I think मेरे को जो expectation था उनका OPC से related कोई question होंगे अपने या फिर अदर किसी कंपनी से related, क्योंकि right now जो scenario चल रहा है उसके हिसाब से जैसे single person कोई भी है तो they are interested to incorporate OPC other than the proprietorship one.
Okay.
In that OPC, they have can invest in any company. The owner of the OPC is single person, but they can invest and make the subsidiary companies.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So whether we should advise our clients to go for OPC instead of proprietorship?
Yes, because in OPC, if the manufacturing company, then they will file the tax only 15 plus plus.
Okay. And so far as the incorporation costing is concerned, so far as the fees that is being charged by the ROC, so whether the same is like the same like private limited or
Yes.
there
Same
is
like
some higher
private
fees
limited,
or
private limited only.
same like a private limited.
Yes.
Okay, and the compliance part is like almost like private limited or even lesser than that.
No, lesser than that, they have not required to conduct AGM and all.
Okay.
They
And
just
the,
conduct the 2 board meetings in the year. In that case,
okay.
the existence of the company is continued by the proprietor, by the individual owner. In case of decease of that owner, OPC owner, the nominee of the OPC will
Takes the
continue
control.
that, and the existence of the corporate entity will continue.
Okay, and that then the new person will appoint a new nominee.
Yes.
I guess.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
And
in
the
that,
can the first that one person director can also be replaced or he cannot be.
then replaced by replaced, there is no
He
issue.
he can be replaced.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even the owner can appoint up to 15 director in the OPC.
Okay, sir. And with regard to sir, change of name and change of the object clause. So, is it mandatory? One of our client is running a financial services company, and he wants to start a new hospital. So, in that case, can financial services and healthcare both?
Yeah, but you have to just add the hospital activity in their main object, and you can continue with the same. There is no requirement to add on or create another entity. You have to just add the hospital activity in the main object of the OPC.
Okay. And for that, a new memorandum and everything has to be filed, right?
Yeah, just you have to just change the main object, add on the main object also. Bas. There is not more than that.
Okay, so memorandum, a new memorandum has to be filed, right, sir?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, sir.
My second point is that all the documents in the annual filing must be physically signed. In the income tax, you have right that you have just affix the DSC and upload the balance sheet and P&L. But in the ROC, you have to just physical sign required in all documents. That we have mentioned that actual date on the documents that we have mentioned that 30th September on the financial and affix the same DSC. And in DSC, you have all the details on the form is available.
Okay. So
That-
yeah, you and I had a experience that while incorporating a company, my staff just copied paste on that PDF, and then we got a notice from the ROC that we found there is some document changes that you have made. So we have also got the notice. So that's very right points.
Yeah, physically sign required, and that is good from our side also. Like we are
Yes.
professional, we are providing this professional services. If we consider that unsigned form, and they will deny that we will not sign the documents and we are not the liable for the same. And always DSC of the all clients is available at our office. And we are using our systems for the filing. That DSC at your office, you are affixing DSC and you are filing forms on your port, your desktop, then all the IP address is yours. Then the all liability on us.
Yes, yes, yes. You're
But
right.
for that, we have just required the signed document from the all the companies. And my third point is in XBRL, right now Ahmedabad ROC, if you file the AOC for XBRL, then they have just make the resubmission that financial or in the XML file is not correct. They are not checking the same, but they just put the query, okay, you have to just correct the financial in the XML file and just resubmit. For that, our advice is just attach the financial, our board report and signed audit report with the form for the prompt approval. Or XBRL filing is, you can also, if any company require that our financial directly, no one get our financial from the MCA, then they voluntarily can adopt the XBRL format. Like your small client is required that my financial, no one can directly see the financial. Then there is option, they voluntarily adopt the XBRL format. But once they adopt, they have to lifetime the file form in XBRL format only. And one more point, that if company couldn't hold the AGM or adjourn the AGM, then company can file the unadopted financial in form AOC4 with the ROC. They have right to compliance, to complete the compliance. We have required to adopted financial in AOC4 to file with the ROC, but you have option that you can find unadopted financial in the form AOC4 with the ROC2 compliance. And another crucial point is, if in any company there is any income tax issues and they have to revise their financial for the purpose of income tax, for that purpose they have also revised their annual filing with the ROC2. Like in income tax, you can your assessment can be done within 7 years or reassessment can be done in 7 years. Then if there is changes in the income tax financial, then you have to change same in the ROC2 and make the with the additional fees.
Sir, also Section 8 company is required to obtain that certificate of commencement of business, or no such requirement is there?
If there is mentioned that share capital in the Section 8 company, then it is required to file Form 28. Commencement of business.
I didn't get you, sir.
If you have mentioned that company is incorporated with the share capital,
Okay.
then you have required to form 20A that share capital is received by the company, and after that you can initiate business.
Okay.
If Section 8 company is incorporated with the guarantee, then you cannot require to file Form 20A. You can directly initiate the business.
Okay. And there was some extension, I guess, in
Yeah,
that
yes.
thing also.
In Form 20A, there is extension for that is you have to require within 180 days. Then additional 180 days is additional that is complete on 30th August 2021.
Okay, okay. So any company incorporated has to file that by 30th August.
That
31st
before
October.
you have, if you require to file within 180 days, but delay, then till 30th August, you have to file within 360 days. Right now, we have to require file in 180 days from the incorporation date.
Okay, so let's say 180 days was expiring on 31st July, then 180 plus 180 days
Yes.
client will get. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
In Section 8 company like basic private limited small company, this compliance is applicable.
So, sir, we can move for the next slide. I guess members may not have any. Okay.
I think for the annual filing, I think many questions I am expecting from your side.
Okay, sir. So basically, what is required to be filed is this thing only, right? AOC 4 and MGT 7 and all that.
AOC 4,
Right?
MGT 7 in small companies. In public companies, additional MGT 14 required.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I would like to ask something, if you permit.
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, sir. Actually, government have recently introduced various changes in Schedule 3, where we require to report the aging of debtors, creditors, and all. So, what are your suggestions that we should we should suggest to the clients that please take care of all these things, otherwise, CS are required to everything in our report. So that can be taken care during the year only. Otherwise, what happens after March, we prepare balance sheet, and over there we have to write everything which actually against the client's interest actually. So I just want your suggestions that we should take care, and we should suggest client please to take care in all these things.
In that case, you have to suggest the client everything you have to complete it before 30th March. On 31st March, there is nothing in the financial. After 1st April, you can again initiate the same. If you report in the 31st March financial, there is
Yes,
no.
sir. Yes.
In 31st March financial, we not require any non-compliance. If company is completed everything on 30th March and we are nothing in the financial on 31st March, there is no requirement to incorporate any qualification in the audit report. And for debtors and creditors, there is a MSME limit is 45 days. But routine in a market scenario, they are considering 180 days credit limits in all industries right now.
Yes, sir. But actually, I think in recent Schedule 3, they have asked for about 6 months more than 6 to 1 year, 1 year to 2 year, and about 3 year like that aging we need to give in case of debtors and creditors as well. And also we need to reconcile the stock statement they have submitted to bank and actual stock on the book. So we need to report on that also in the recent changes that they have introduced. So regarding that, what we need to take care during the year only, so that we can make client active on that part, and so that they not make any mistakes.
We have to mention everything facts on the financial, but for client point that everything will you have to disclose on fact way. You cannot hide any facts. But for the your your creditor list is long, then after 3 years you have right to write off for the same, for the creditors or debtors.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Later, we need to see that what's the submitted to ROC and what's being submitted to bank, is it?
ના ના અરે યસ અરે ચિંતનભાઈ હવે એ જે નથી આપતા આ લોકો 4 વર્ષનું એજિંગ કરવાનું છે વત્તા બેંક સ્ટોક સ્ટેટમેન્ટ ક્વાર્ટરલી આ લોકો જે સબમિટ કરતા હોય છે સીસી માં અને એમાં અને તમારે ઓડિટર એમાં રિપોર્ટ કરવાનું છે કે એમણે બેંકને આ સબમિટ કર્યું છે પણ ઇનફેક્ટ ફિઝિકલી જે સ્ટોક સ્ટેટમેન્ટ આ પ્રમાણે હતું તો આમ જનરલી સર વોટ હેપન્સ કે ધો દે આર પ્રાઇવેટ લિમિટેડ કંપનીઝ બટ દે આર મેનેજ એઝ પ્રોપ્રાઇટરશિપ ઓનલી because they never knew what to do, what not to do. Just they want a label of director and they incorporate private limited company. So what happens ultimately is we need to settle everything and we need to guide step by step for everything. So that's why I was asking what we need to suggest
Is
clients.
report, it is required to be reported or
No sir, for Chintanbhai next year amendment આવે છે ને આ બધો amendment આ લોકો લાવે છે.
March 22 से आ रहा है वो.
હા માર્ચ 22 માં આ બધું આવ્યું છે તો ધ થિંગ ઇઝ અત્યારે જે યર ચાલુ છે તો આપણે ક્લાયન્ટ ને કહી શકીએ કે આ વાતનું ધ્યાન રાખજો જૂના કંઈ ખેંચાતા આવતા તમે એને સેટલ કરી દેજો અધરવાઇઝ વી નીડ ટુ રિપોર્ટ એન્ડ એની ઇમ્પેક્ટ ક્યાં થાય છે ઇન્કમ ટેક્સ માં થાય છે બીકોઝ લોંગ પેન્ડિંગ તમારા જે ડેટર્સ હોય ક્રેડિટર્સ હોય આ લોકો કઈ રીતે એનું એપ્રોચ લેશે વી નેવર ન્યુ સો વી થિંક કે આપણે પ્રિકોશન લઈ અને અત્યારથી જ ક્લાયન્ટ ને એ બાબતે એલર્ટ કરીએ સો ધેટ્સ વાય આઈ વોઝ આસ્કિંગ.
इसके अंदर आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, मेन चीज वही है कि थोड़ा बहुत वेरिएशन होता है.
તમારો વિડિયો પણ ચાલુ કરજો ને કદાચ તો ગોવિલભાઈ પણ તમને જોઈ શકે.
શ્યોર એક જ સેકન્ડ. ઓકે ओके या यस.
फैक्ट आपको करना क्या है, अभी एक चीज तो है कि फैक्ट लेना है, दूसरा क्लाइंट को ये बोलना है कि एक्चुअल है रिकवरी, जो एक्चुअल रिकवरी है या एक्चुअल पेबल है वो उसको क्लियर करना है कि आफ्टर 4 इयर्स आपको लगता है कि इट इज कंसीडर्ड एज ए बैड डेट और यू हैव टू जस्ट रिटर्न ऑफ, और क्रेडिटर्स है कि ये इन फ्यूचर पेबल नहीं है तो उसको रिटर्न ऑफ. वो भी इनकम टैक्स में वही होने वाला है तो राइट नाउ जो इनकम टैक्स के रिसेंट केसेस देखे हैं कि 4 इयर्स तक अगर कंटिन्यू कोई भी आपका डेटर्स या क्रेडिटर्स कंटिन्यू हो रहा है, if creditors कोई कंटिन्यू हो रहा है तो दे विल कंसीडर इट इज एज योर इनकम directly and deemed income and add in your assessment only. In Ahmedabad recently many cases is there, I have shown.
ओके थैंक यू.
उसके अंदर वही है कि या तो एक्चुअल पेबल है, एक्चुअल रिसीवेबल है, एक कंफर्मेशन ले लें उनसे भाई क्यों है, रीजन है, जस्टिफिकेशन के साथ. अपने भी आप जो फाइनेंशियल में डिस्क्लोज करोगे तो यू हैव टू जस्ट सपोर्टिंग डॉक्यूमेंट्स आल्सो. कि वी हैव लाइक बैंक लोन्स में आप बैंक से कंफर्मेशन लेते हो या बैंक स्टेटमेंट बाय एज ऑन डेट आपका ये दी हुई है, लाइक दैट यू हैव टू जस्ट रिक्वायर द सेम फ्रॉम द डेटर्स एंड क्रेडिटर्स टू. But if they are not giving confirmation from the 4 year continue 4 years, then you have just in practical scenario you have just consider it that it is bad debts only.
The second question from my side is when we need to consolidate. Suppose one of my company is acquiring 25% stake in another company. Do I need to consolidate that account too?
Yes.
So what is the limit?
Your stake is increasing 20%, then it will be your
Yes.
associate company.
Right.
In that case, if you are any associate company, subsidiary company, joint ventures, even in
Right.
LLP, you have
Yes.
stake is more than 20%, then you have to just consolidate your financials.
Okay, sir. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
In if you are companies invested in any partnership firm, then there is no requirement of consolidation. That is in very rare cases that companies invested in any partnership firms. In place of partnership firm, they are creating just joint ventures for the particular specific activities. That is JV created for the particular project for the 4 years or 5 years. After that, they dissolve the JVs.
Yes, yes. This is mostly in case of government contractors. They used to do these things. Yes, yes, yes.
Infra companies, they are doing the JVs.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes.
So what is the, sir, procedure for JV? Let's say like the way you said, and Kamlesh bhai said, okay, for government contractors doing to show the experience on paper and all that things. So what is the procedure exactly for JV and all that?
They are not exactly showing the experience. There is a specific requirement for the government contract. Like one
So-
company is having their experience, and another part will be the education part. That X companies wants to take the project, but they don't have the credential for the same.
Exactly.
Huh.
So for
Yeah.
whatever the reason, like two companies are like two companies, or let's say two partnership firms, or one proprietorship and one private lim. So what is the procedure for this JV and all that?
For the particular, that you have to just create a JV agreement, like partnership. For
Okay.
we have to just mention for the particular details that this JV is created for this purpose, and once this project is completed, the joint venture will be dissolved.
Okay, sir.
And every JV has a PAN number, and once the project is completed, they will surrender the PAN number.
Okay, so PAN, GST, everything will be a new one.
Yes, exactly, for the particular project. For in
Okay.
JVs, back-to-back profit will be transferred in the proportionate to the ultimate owners.
Okay.
In JV, there is no tax, but there is PAN is required for the business transactions.
Okay, so let's say I and you are entering into JV and we are making 10 lakh profit, and 50-50 is there. So 5 lakh you will get added into your income, and 5 lakh will get added in my income.
Yes, we will get from the JVs, and there is no income and expense in the JV.
Okay, so that JV is required to file the income tax return, right?
Yes, exactly.
So okay.
In certain cases, the lower rate is also applicable. From the government, the TDS is deducted at 1%.
Okay.
In that case, many of the companies, infra companies and JVs apply for the lower rate of income tax, TDS only.
Okay, sir.
The zero rate is the TDS applicable in many infra companies. 0.01% TDS in the many infra companies is applicable.
Okay. So like without any like there that CIT approval and all that is required for that, right, sir?
Yeah, you have to just make the application. It is online required, and you
Okay.
will get approval within 60 days.
Okay. So like the way we do it in general case, like in
Yes,
other
yes.
cases, like the same way.
Yes.
Okay, but then here is it's a joint venture, so CIT would straight away approve because there is no tax liability, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even in many infra companies, there is no tax liabilities arise, then they will require the apply for the lower rate. That is the refund process is the very lengthy that compared to you will get the lower rate certificate.
Yes, you are right. Good.
रोमिल भाई आपके कोई क्वेश्चन?
No.
चावड़ा सर?
सर एक चीज मैं आई जस्ट वांट टू आस्क यू कि कंसोलिडेटेड फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट जो हम प्रिपेयर करते हैं उसमें कैश फ्लो और उसमें क्या क्या एप्लीकेबल नहीं होता जो हम स्टैंड अलोन में करते हैं, जो रिपोर्टिंग करते हैं, सपोज कारो करते हैं, फिर इंटरनल फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोल
आएगी, बैलेंस शीट, P&L,
राइट
कैश फ्लो और नोट टू अकाउंट्स आएंगे.
ओके, कारो ऑब्वियसली नहीं आएगा, फिर इंटरनल फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोल रिपोर्टिंग भी नहीं आएगा. फाइन, सिर्फ ये चार चीज ही देनी, ऑडिट रिपोर्ट, फाइनेंशियल अकाउंट एंड कैश फ्लो, राइट?
कैश फ्लो एंड नोट्स टू अकाउंट.
ओके, नोट्स टू अकाउंट. ओके सर, थैंक यू.
Cash flow is not compulsory for up to certain limit, right, sir? Or
yeah, in a small companies, cash flow is not required.
Okay, sir.
And for small companies, now limit is 2 crore is capital and 20 crore is turnover.
Okay, sir.
If both criteria are satisfied, below 2 crore and below 20 crore, then company is considered as a small company
Okay,
as per new definition.
right. So, and is there any form in which ROC filing, while ROC filing, signature of company secretary is required?
In MGT 7, it is mandatory.
And
Okay,
also, sir, in certain companies we need to appoint CS also because I think turnover above 50 crores or a certain
No, no, no.
industry.
For that above 50 crore, the MGT 8 is applicable. That is a compliance certificate from the practicing company secretary. And for the employment, there is a, if company having all listed companies and company having paid up capital about 10 crore, then they have required to mandatorily appointment the company secretary full time.
Sir, second one question is if you want to close the company, the condition is there must not be any income within two prior years, right?
No business transaction in 2 previous years.
No business. Suppose one of my client wants to close the company and he wants to start proprietorship only. So I said that you need not have any business income within 2 prior years. So he said that the income is miscellaneous income. It is not operational income,
If
anything like
it is
that.
other income, then you can file for the closing.
Okay, fine. So if it is miscellaneous income, then we can apply and be accepted by MC, right? Or that will
Yes.
be accepted.
Yes, yes. There is no
Okay.
business transaction.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to close the company, they will sell the scrap or machinery or everything. Once he clean the company, after that he can go for the closing.
Actually, one of my friends said you must not be anything in the credit side of the private profit and loss. So I thought any income.
If there is other income, you can go. There is no issue.
Fine.
yes,
Okay.
there will be other income and the audit expense and all that, that minor
Normal
will be there.
expenses.
Yes. So, matlab in credit side of pre-L, you can have other income, but not business income. Fine.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
If you will receive any issue, then meet Bharti madam in ROC. He will support you. There is no issue.
Any members have any other question? Romil bhai or
We are open for related to annual filing or any other question related to private limited or LLP.
yes, any question related to this company secretarial matter, we can ask to him. Palak bhai, के question तुम्हारे कहीं हो तो इलेश भाई, हेमिल भाई, अपूर्वा मैडम, मीनाक्षी मैम, रंगानी साहेब, निमेश भाई, कोई ना कोई क्वेश्चन हो तो पृथ्वीराज भाई, लट्टा जी, स्मित भाई, विशाल भाई की, if you have any doubt and concern and question. Palak bhai, if you have any question related to ROC or Companies Act or anything. You are mute, Palak. You are mute, Palak bhai.
No question. Actually, ખાલી penalty related થોડા doubt હતા, but એ clear થઈ ગયા slides માં સાહેબની.
Okay. Okay, I guess like members Members may contact to Govil Bhai directly also. I will circulate the his presentation to everyone via email also. Therein his mobile number and everything would be mentioned. So for any concern, any query, members may directly reach to him, and he is a very nice and gentle guy. For my all ROC compliance doubts and everything, I always consult him. So for any such thing, anyone may consult him. I will share his series presentation and his number to everyone. Okay, Romil bhai.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for enriching our knowledge regarding the annual compliance, ROC compliance regarding the LLP and private limited. Now I request Chintan bhai for a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Govil sir, for coming in our CP study circle and enhancing our knowledge with regard to the Companies Act and the compliance. Though we have been meeting and every now and then, and I consult you, but then today's session was actually very knowledge enhancing. Though small and micro things which we could have actually forgotten and we could have missed. So it is actually like brushing up our knowledge for the annual filing, and definitely it will improve the compliance part on my end at least, and for sure all of our members, and that compliance would be done in a very precise and accurate manner. So that will be there. So it was very knowledge enhancing, and it gives us a practical. You gave us a practical overview. So I am very much thankful to you, and please keep on coming to our study circle whenever it's convenient to you, and keep enhancing our knowledge about the Companies Act. As Chawla ji earlier said, that now it's not a side practice. It's like you require it's like a main practice, and so much of penalties and everything is there. So it's like every professional need to focus on that. So you really recharge and enhance our knowledge for the company. Really thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Govil bhai. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you.